Well, my friends, as we are now in a more remote part of the palace, just continuing on the way that we've come from, in other words, down this long, long gallery of rooms, including the throne room, but now we're beyond that, and we're in a more, I would call it an intimate or private area of the palace, so that as we walk through here, the rooms are smaller, and I've inverted the camera to show you, believe it or not, it's the billiard room. So yes, these people were real people. They enjoyed games. They enjoyed recreation. So here's the billiard room in the palace. It's not so much that it's a gigantic room with all kinds of decoration. It's lovely, but it was here for the purpose of enjoyment, to have fun. Beautiful. And you can see that the gallery of rooms goes well down this way. So we're just going to keep walking through and do a little walking tour. This is also very, very fascinating. These are models. This will stun you. This will amaze you. This is a model of essentially what would have been a Disneyland ride of the 1700s. These were constructed into buildings that would be a ride that people would walk up those stairs into that little tower, across a gangway into these boats that go up and down on these major swing arms and then go around and around and around like a merry-go-round. It's a ride. It's the design for a ride, and yet it's the 1700s. I we just don't think that people did things like that, but they did. They were like us in so many ways. They enjoyed fun and invention, and that's a perfect example of it. And then through here um, is yet another completely fascinating reality. I was just impressed. So you can see a gated doorway there and a gated doorway over here. I'm going to just let you try to imagine what it is. Now, it's gated not because it's a jail, so put that out of your mind. It's something else very, very interesting. I don't know whether I can get close enough to indicate, but you'll see that inside is a little tiny room, and there are little benches, padded benches, in a beautifully paneled room inside, about twice the size of a phone booth. What do you think that might be? Just take a guess. Take a wild guess. And I'll tell you, it's something that we use commonly today. And this was one of the first inventions of such. And when I tell you what it is, you're going to say, no way. And it was operated, by the way, by hand by people that would be up and down this stairwell. So if you haven't guessed already, I'm going to tell you, it was one of the first elevators ever invented. Yes, folks, one of the first elevators ever invented because, as I said, this palace is 5 stories high. He didn't like to go up and down stairs all the time walking, so he had his people invent a way, and it was called the flying staircase. The flying staircase. Back in the 1700s, they invented this that became, in fact, the precursor to the modern elevator. And you can see inside there was room for 3 or 4 people to sit while it went up, because we're on what would be known here as the first floor, even though we're well above street level. But there's a couple of floors even above this. And there was a lot of walking to do. So how do you get from one floor to another? You ride the flying staircase. How about that? How about that? So let's continue our little tour down the gallery here. And there are, again, these rooms and intersections all down the sides, this way and this way. And I want to show you one fascinating little room here, as I recall. This is called the Sala delle Culle, the cradle room. This is now in a very, very private area of the of the palace. You can see back in there would have been where some of the babies would have slept. Now, that's a cradle. And you can see one there that looks a little bit more modern. Uh, they look like little bathtubs that were on pivots that would swing, and they're guarded by angels, carved angels to guard the little baby royal angels, I guess. So there is the sign there that says the Sala delle Culle, the cradle room. So this would have been a lot of the personal quarters, very, very quiet area. And this back part of the palace that we're in would have been more dedicated to the use of the queen, which makes sense because she would have been the mom of the family. So the last thing I'll do here before I begin another video is show you some details of the furniture here. This is all inlaid wood, friends. Look at this inlaid wood. How beautiful is that? It looks like it's painted. I realize that. It looks like it's painted. It's not. That's inlaid wood, every bit of it. That's just amazing. And if I step back, you'll see the carving on the bottom. So this is carving and then inlaid wood on this. It's a desk, actually. It's a roll top desk. Let's step back here, you'll get a vision of it. It's a very large rollback desk. That cover there would slide back inside. Wow. Okay. I'm going to pause here because there's something very special coming up right through that door.